Good morning and happy Good Friday, everyone. So, yeah, this is the part during Holy Week where, actually let me get my shoes on because I'm running late. This is the part during Holy Week where we get to the day that, Jesus Christ actually died. Here's the thing that always kind of confused me, because obviously Good Friday is the day Jesus died, and it was Easter Sunday that he, rose from the dead, as the story goes. Keep in mind, I am Catholic, so, it's just one of those things where you just simply don't, question otherwise. But I do want to know, I'm not questioning the whole, faith and, spiritual power thing or anything like that. I was trying to say, how do you get 3 days when you start from Friday and end on Sunday? Because it was suspected that Jesus Christ passed away at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, roughly, on Good Friday. And it was and it was on Sunday morning when, several people opened the tomb and he was gone. Because, I'm sure that the real reason is, they count Good Friday as the first day, Saturday is the second day, and Sunday is the third day, because, maybe it's possible they didn't really, pay attention to the 24-hour clock, or maybe they weren't counting by 24 hours, just if it was past midnight, if it was before midnight and then after midnight, that's day 1 and day 2. I guess maybe they did it that way. But that's actually something that always kind of bothered me. 3 days would technically be Monday. And here's another thing that actually kind of did bother me a little bit. Again, nothing to do with faith, just in the logic of, okay. So this, I'm sure you've probably at least heard this story at least once. But for Catholicism and Christianity as a whole, God creates the earth in 6 days and rested on the 7th day. And it's that 7th day, the Sabbath day, that's when we're all supposed to go to church. Now, it's suspected that God took 6 days, obviously the first day being Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday, with Saturday being that day of rest. However, because Jesus rose from the dead on a Sunday, that's why people go to church more often on Sundays than Saturday night. Honestly, when I'm not at Cuca Lake, I go on both Saturday night and Sunday morning. Largely because for the Sunday morning thing, it gets me out and about. But, it does kind of bother, a technicality like Jesus rising from the dead just happened to be on a Sunday. That's why, you change the day you go to church from Saturday to Sunday. Again, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but if you go to church on Saturday, going to church on Saturday evening is better. Because it's not like you're going to be there for that long. The masses I usually go to are around 4 or 5 o'clock in the late afternoon, early evening. You've got the rest of your Saturday to do whatever you want. If your service gets out at 6, that gives you at least 6 hours to do whatever it is you want to do until midnight. But since you got church over with, you can sleep in on Sunday. Of course, again, as long as I'm not at the lake, I go on Saturday and Sunday. And given what I have on Sunday, that's going to be a very long, there's something I need to make for a party on Sunday. It's just going to be, I'm probably going to have to make, I'm either going to have to make it either after I do my live vlog, or I get 4 hours of sleep. And then I make it. Sunday is going to be a very interesting day. This whole weekend is interesting, if we're being honest. Okay, enough beating around the bush. Let's get to my low, my high, my act of kindness. Let's see, what's my low? Ah, nothing particularly bad happened yesterday. It's kind of hard to. I am kind of missing Hot Ones a little bit. The fact I'm not talking about Hot Ones Day for the first time in weeks is actually kind of new. But watch. I'll get into the routine of not talking about Hot Ones on Thursdays, and then they announce season 27 later. So I guess I am missing Hot Ones a little bit. Kind of derails like my usual thing. But we adapt on this channel. That's what we do here. Let's see, my high. I got to see my nephews yesterday. That was a lot of fun. And I got to go to the grand opening of the Dairy Barn. Even though I'm not talking about Hot Ones, people have ice cream on Hot Ones. So yeah, talking about the Dairy Barn. And my act of kindness was helping my mom watch my nephews throughout the afternoon when I saw them. In fact, okay, so I mentioned in my short last night I went to the Dairy Barn, and I have two new favorite flavors of ice cream. I'll get to that in a second. Now, I get to the Dairy Barn shortly after 4 o'clock. I'm not expecting to be the first person there, but definitely one of them. But the part of me was like, what if I'm the first one? Because last year, I was actually the first person there, which was crazy. So I get there, and who should be sitting on the picnic table outside eating their ice cream but my mom with my nephews. Actually, I think my nephews were just eating ice cream. Mom didn't have anything. So, again, so much for being the first person this year like last year. However, there was other people inside before me, so yeah, I wasn't the first. But you know what? It didn't matter, because I was there to get my ice cream, and gosh darn, that's exactly what I did. If you don't know, the Dairy Barn has been an ice cream shop all of my life. In fact, I make a very solemn wager that it's the place I've been to the most in terms of getting ice cream. Obviously, it's in the shape of a barn. It's a rather unassuming place. You wouldn't expect to find ice cream at a place like this, but there we go. And they serve Perry's brand ice cream. Perry's, very popular ice cream brand. Pretty reliable product. Lots of ice cream shops swear by using Perry's ice cream as their means of delivering to customers, and Perry's, for all intents and purposes, does have a lot of flavors. Although, it's funny, I was standing inside, I was waiting in line at the Dairy Barn, and this family had already gotten, their ice cream. Well, was starting to get their ice cream. And one kid said, will Blue Moon ever come back? If you don't know, Blue Moon is a flavor of ice cream that, I guess, a very oversimplification of what Blue Moon tastes like is, imagine Coca-Cola, but you made it blue and creamy. Because there's a lot of notes in Blue Moon, flavor note-wise, that are in Coca-Cola. You got your vanilla, you got a little bit of spice, you got a little bit of fruit flavor too. That's what Coca-Cola is. And they made it blue and creamy, which I actually like Blue Moon. I think Blue Moon is highly underrated as a flavor. But, it's literally the first day. They're not going to have every single flavor they have. They change the flavors they have throughout the year. So, if you went to the Dairy Barn yesterday and you didn't see the flavor that you normally get, I wouldn't fret over it. It's probably going to happen later. But when the little kid brought up Blue Moon, I'm like, huh. Now I'm actually kind of missing that too. But I mean, I assured the little kid, like, relax. It's only the first day. I'm sure it'll be probably like Blue Moon will probably show up like late May, early June, roughly, when that flavor comes back. But enough about that. Let's talk about the flavors of ice cream I did have, because my go-to at the Dairy Barn is what's called the Elvis Sundae, which is a sundae with peanut butter and bananas. Now, those who are astute would know that it's called the Elvis because Elvis Presley's favorite sandwich was peanut butter and bananas. However, the people who own the Dairy Barn, it's a family-run place, they had a dog who passed away a couple years ago named Elvis. So the jury's out on what the Elvis Sundae is named after, but for the sake of being respectful towards the family, I like to believe like they named it the Elvis Sundae after their dog, and the fact that Elvis Presley did exist, who liked peanut butter and bananas, that's why they got peanut butter and bananas. That's what I like to believe anyway. Although speaking of Elvis, like, you know what? It escapes me what breed of dog he was. I want to say he was a Mastiff, maybe? Well, a bigger dog. But not like, monstrously big. Very well behaved dog. Pretty quiet. He'd simply like just walk out and let the customers pet him as he walked by. Very sweet, well behaved dog. Very sad that even now, it's still very sad that he's gone. There's actually a few photos of him to remember him by. Very, very good dog, he was. But I ordered my Elvis Sundae, and it comes in, because I ordered large, it was 3 scoops. And I'm thinking, what flavor of ice cream? Because I originally was going to do a bourbon caramel pecan. It's like a bourbon flavored ice cream with caramel swirls and pieces of pecan, which is very good. But I couldn't help but notice that there's 2 new flavors of ice cream: Lavender Dream and Blueberry Cornbread. Now, I asked for a sample of both, and in regards to the Lavender Dream, she says, "I swear it doesn't taste like soap." Okay. Wasn't really expecting anything like that, because lavender is one of those set aromas that's like really popular, but surprisingly, I really haven't smelled lavender enough to really form. Well, actually, that's not true. I smell enough to think it's okay. I like it. It's not like, oh my gosh, lavender, I must have it. No, it's good. But I've never had lavender flavored ice cream with a blackberry swirl, no less. And I gotta tell you, if you have an opportunity to eat lavender flavored anything, go for it, because it was actually really good. And as for the blueberry cornbread, it was a honey flavored ice cream with a blueberry swirl and bits of cornbread, which makes sense. You put honey on cornbread usually sometimes. Yeah, there are people who do that, right? Yeah, people put honey on cornbread, but blueberries, blueberry swirl. And remember, I ordered the Elvis Sundae, which contains peanut butter and bananas. Normally when you hear peanut butter, you immediately think and jelly. And here's the thing about jelly. It doesn't just come in grape flavors. It comes in, strawberry, or raspberry. I've had apple jelly before. But blackberry jelly and blueberry jelly exist. And you would think that what I'm describing wouldn't work, but for that reason, it does. Like the blackberry swirl from the Lavender Dream and the blueberry swirl from the blueberry cornbread went really well with the peanut butter in my Elvis sundae. Like, it worked. It worked phenomenally. And, I like bananas, so, well, that's actually, because I watched Binging with Babish, shout to Babish. Us upstate New Yorkers need to stick together, He actually is deathly allergic to bananas, so he sadly could not have the sundae. But I'm sure if he's probably never going to have Lavender Dream with blueberry cornbread. I think he would like it. I really think he would. Again, us upstate New Yorkers need to stick together. Although, speaking of upstate New York, this is actually the one problem I have even now as a 35-year-old man. Because right now, I'm actually craving wings. I can't have wings today. Because it may be the last Friday during Lent, but it's still a Friday during Lent. So, I'm stuck. I'll get myself wings tomorrow, probably. Well, actually, not probably. I am going to get wings. I just don't know where off the top of my head. Anyway, so, yes. I mean, again, if you're not Christian or Catholic, feel free to ignore what I'm about to say here. But, it's actually kind of funny. The sun is shining directly on me. Today I'm definitely going to take some time to reflect a little. Think about, yes, Easter, my favorite holiday, is this Sunday, and I'm really looking forward to that. But, it also comes with a little bit of emotional baggage because, as a worshiping Catholic, this is a rather sad day. It's like when I talked about, on Palm Sunday. I know the story. I know what happens after today. When I was a little kid, I definitely was sad about it, to be sure. But that was largely because I was absolutely afraid of death as a kid. I still am, but it doesn't, make me cry like it used to when I was a kid. So it's not really like the worst. I'm not the worst for wear. It's a somber day and definitely one of remembrance. But, listen, Jesus' death happened apparently 2,000 plus years ago. If you're still crying over it, I don't know how to help you. Again, as I get older, I tend to, how do I put this? Appreciate more as to what my faith is. Because, listen, Catholics get a lot of hate for several different reasons, and one of which is being incredibly overzealous. That's not going to be me. No way. Again, this is always a safe space. It doesn't matter what your religious orientation is. It doesn't matter what race you are, what your sexual orientation is, gender, whatever. This will always be a safe space. Because, fine, it's literally just me. What am I going to do? So, again, this is a safe space. What was that thing they were saying earlier? We listen, but we don't judge. That's I'll listen and I won't judge. Although I like to make a joke where I'm saying, I'm a 10, but I don't listen, I will absolutely judge. No, but on a serious note though. I hope everyone has a wonderful Good Friday. Easter weekend's this weekend. I got some big things planned for this weekend, to be sure. I'm very excited to do that. And, I hope y'all like this video. If you like, subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow me on social media. As always, I'm very homely in this video for all you guys watching Joe Fanable. If you have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Friday. And remember, if you guys want to talk to channel, we're going to be here to lend you always your back. Take care and make good choices. 607 all day, baby.